And we're live and we're back again. I'm going to run the intro again. Intro. Good morning, Grand Rising. Welcome to Ask the Shaman. That's a beautiful Tuesday morning. I've really been enjoying the last couple of days up here in Northern Ohio. It has had some really beautiful weather. Some really beautiful weather to be outside. I've had lots of time in nature. I've been very fortunate to have been able to make it so I have enough time to be out in nature because as a nature mystic, I love nature. I just love being out in the woods. I love being out on the trails, on the sunshine, on the beach. We had a really, really nice time out on some trails on Sunday. I just loved Sunday. It was a wonderful day. And then yesterday was really nice. I got to do some work in the yard that has been kind of getting started here. And then also we took some time and went over to the lake and did some ceremony at the lake, and it was very, very awesome. Very, very beautiful. Been enjoying my life. How about you? Good morning. So the floor is open for any questions or comments. I did not bring anything at all to talk about otherwise. So if we don't get a conversation started, that'll be the end of this show. For the last few days, I'm spending a lot of time taking care of my garden. Love the feeling. I do too. It was 2020. It was COVID time when we planted our first garden, and I enjoyed it so much. It was so nice to, there's work, there's an investment involved because we got raised beds. The only place on our lot that gets like really good sun is the right side of the front yard. So that was the first thing. Most people don't put gardens in their front yard. So I look up the local rules and everything. And essentially on your property, if you're growing food, you can kind of grow food anywhere because that's one thing at least the government has not infringed upon is your ability to grow food. I don't know about other laws. I'm just talking about my local laws here in Westlake, Ohio. So I made 3 large raised beds, 8 foot by 4 foot raised beds. And then we grow some food in there. And there's just something so rewarding about eating your own organically grown food. It just is so nice, just so wonderful. And the energy is so amazing, connecting in the dirt with your own food. I just love it. Gardening. I don't know if I'm ready to run a big farm, but definitely some small gardening. I really enjoy that. I really do. Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Brianna. I was outside Sunday and Monday. Good. I'm sure I'll get outside today too. Looks like a nice sunny day again. A nice sunny day. Oh. All right. So let's talk about life. What's going on in your world? Is there anything anyone wants to discuss, look at, find some answers to? That's what this show is all about. This show is all about taking deep dives into spirituality, into metaphysics, into mindset, even religion sometimes. I don't mind going into religion. I'm not anti-religion. Some people may think that, that a shaman or a shaman priest would be against religion in some way, but I'm totally not. I'm an omnist, and actually I would tell you that I believe that all religions contain truth, and no one religion is all truth. Let's see. Do we remember our past lives because there is a lesson for us in them? Sometimes. It's more like there is no past nor future. So you have the ability to access all experiences. So there's something really intense coming through here. Let me start to take this channel, let it turn into words inside of me. Great question, Angelica. Okay, so the way they're asking me to explain is try to remember that all time is now. So all time is now. So when we're saying past lives, those are actually lives that are happening now. They're evolving and unfolding now, and they're not separate from this life. So a lot of what you do in this perceived reality is also affected in the other realities as well, and vice versa. So sometimes it's a lesson. Sometimes we're learning something, that we're going to use in this reality to grow this one, and vice versa. They can move around. Other time it's memory. So, you're remembering all of your realities. So I myself am a rememberer, and I remember lots of what ones would call past lives, but I'm aware that there are lives that are happening now, and they're experiences. So they're experiences to have. I kind of more focus on this place more than the other reality. The other realities are kind of like, yeah, you can pick up some information there, but some people get really caught up and dragged away into this past life space. And a lot of that has to do with they're just trying to escape this one. They're trying to create identities based on these other realities, which I try to ask people not to do. Try not to use your past realities to shape your idea of identity, because any identity you choose in this reality is actually illusory. So you might as well choose a identity that actually is in alignment with your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. The thing is about identity and personality and all those things. It's all very malleable and can change. Whoever you are today, there's no obligation for you to stay this person. I always, and for some people, this sounds, for our standard programming, this sounds like, crazy or something, but you can be any character you want. You don't have to, and you don't have to worry about what other people think or anything like that. So you want to choose to be a character that's loving, that's calm, things that actually improve your status, your ability to flow through life easily with joy and ease. Some of the other things, Angelica, are that we consider past lives, our experiences that have been connected to us through our genetics, all of your ancestors. So these would look like people who have come before you. Again, time is illusory, but I'll just kind of stay there for the ease of communication. You are all who have come before you. So the thing is you have the ability to access all the memory of all who have come before you. So all the events, and not just before you, what you perceive as after you, because the future is now. It's already happening. We as sovereign beings have the ability to connect in all directions to all of the intelligence of the cosmos. We are not separate from it. Okay. The ego is the thing that creates separation. And I'm not saying you should kill your ego. Those are ideas that I think are misinterpretations. When we talk about ego death, it's not that you're totally killing the ego. It's the phase of it being in control of you. It's the phase of your entire personality and mindset is run by this program. It is just a program. And it's not that the program's bad. It's just a little corrupted and it needs to be straightened out. Your ego is a necessary function. It's a necessary tool. Without it, you can't navigate this portion of reality. So that's part of also why we're here, is learning how to transmute the energy and frequency within the ego mind. The ego mind actually can become a beautiful connection once you begin to develop a relationship, of what we call a relationship between this is the higher self, the observer, the formless part of you, the part without form, and then the part with form is your ego. So these two things can become friends. And so I'm at a point on my journey where the ego sees the higher self and understands and can hear the higher self. And it no longer has fear. It communicates. Sometimes it's very stubborn. And the I will sometimes watch the me be very stubborn and won't try to stop him or talk him down or correct him. He'll just let him kind of go along. There's an observation. The I can observe me, the me, the me that's walking around in this reality, judging, looking, having this experience. So what happens is the I, the father, can help the son, the me. It can be very helpful as me allows itself to open, but also it's allowing yourself to be the observer of your behavior, not always trying to cut your behavior and watch your behavior. You're trying to understand the behavior so you can add love into the ego mind. And as the ego feels loved and it feels safe, it no longer goes into these deep protection modes. And this is healing. This is shadow work. The shadow work happens when we take apart the things that we're coveting, hiding, afraid of, start to take it apart, start to dissolve it. And then this takes tension out of the program of the ego. And now the ego no longer has to prove itself. It no longer is insecure. It's much more confident and has belief. Now it has faith in the higher self, in God. Because your higher, your I is God. The me is the program that's made up out of past experiences in this life. I do enjoy past lives. I do take people on regression. So if anybody would like to go into regression, call me. Come on into a session. I'd love to take people into hypnotic states and explore the deep mind. It's very powerful. Thank you, Angelica. That was a wonderful question. Have you read Destiny of Souls, Michael Newton? No, I'm afraid not. I don't really read too many books. I'm more of a connection right to source. So the people that write books, where do they get the information to write the book? It's channeled to them. I generally channel my information directly instead of read someone else's experience. So I'm pretty big on that. That's not like typical to most people what they think teaching is. They think it's all information. I deeply disagree. As a shaman priest, your deepest form of teaching is what your spirit can bring to you. But I'm not against books or anything. That's not how I learn. I don't connect a lot to verbiage of books. And I don't really think I need to read a book about past lives since I experience my own and teach others how to access them. How many of your ancestors, Zane, spoke of are your personal past lives? Oh, I don't know. I mean, counting. I don't think there's enough to count. I don't think there's too many to count. How many of your ancestors, Zane, spoke of are your personal past lives? So there's no separation. So you've created a separation. Personal past life. Well, there's no person, actually. Your living energy, your creation itself. So I think there's just a little misunderstanding in the mind there. The ego mind has created separation. You should actually not. You should. So the should, as soon as should pops up, I have resistance. I don't like should. The shouldhood is shithood is what we say. No one gets to tell you what should be. You should actually not choose an identity. We are just I am. Well, listen, Jill, you have who's talking to me? Jill Bova, that's your identity. I agree. We are the creative source itself, but you are here to be an expression of that one through a personality. So don't be afraid of your personality, Jill. Be loving to your personality. Allow her to be here. Allow her to grow and expand. You're here to help her to have a journey. The journey is that personality. And you have a choice to choose that, however that is. Otherwise, you'll move into full mysticism. You'll sit like this on the top of a hill and just meditate into your oneness, which is okay too. But we call that the slow path to suicide in the tradition. Hi, Benjamin. Hi, Anthony. Not heard from your team yet. I know you have a lot on your plate. Well, that's something, Benjamin. I'm Let me make a note about that. Where's the pen at? Let me make a note of that. I got you. Yeah, there is a lot going on. There's so much. We're doing a lot of expansion. I'm sorry, Benjamin. We'll see if we can get someone in touch with you today. Morning, everyone. Hi, Tom. Gracie Rose. That was beautiful. Thank you. Your words? Who would I be if I couldn't remember who I am? I don't know if I understand the question. Your words? Your words? Who would I be if I couldn't remember who I am? Well, that's why I always ask you. If I could snap my fingers and give you amnesia, because most people are trapped in the story. That's all the ego is. The ego is a story. If you get rid of the story, now that eliminates all of your limitations, all of the things you tell yourself that you can't do, and I'm not good enough, and I'm not comfortable. That's all ego. That's all the ego mind that has that. So what I always try to ask people, because this is something Mary and I were talking about this morning, self-love. It's really something how the program runs in a way that stops us from being able to have love for ourselves, a deep level of love. But a lot of this comes through the story. And so how I put it is, if I could snap my fingers and give you amnesia and you could forget all the stuff that's happened before today, who would you be? See, you wouldn't be you anymore. This idea of who you are, which is all just past experience, right? The experience is meant for you just to learn, not to create mental restrictions with. I have read all of Michael Newton's books. I have heard of Michael Newton. It put me on the path in 2018. I also had a LBL session in 2021. It was completely different from the book. I don't know what LBL is. Maybe someone else does. Jill Bova. She's laughing today. I'm glad you're laughing today, Jill. Smiling's good. Thank you, bro. Would love to talk to you. Much love. Indeed. That was good. I like to talk about it's just because there's such a big misunderstanding, really. And a lot of it's hard to explain in physical words. And I think that's why a lot of people just leave it as, they communicate in certain ways because then that creates ease of communication than sitting there and trying to explain that like there is no past life. There's only now. It's one life. It's all one thing. And currently what you're experiencing in this moment is this frequency vibration of a reality. The world doesn't change around you. That's not what happens. You're changing the way that the world is within you. It's understanding that everything that happens, even where you think I'm happening inside of you. That's where it's actually happening. Everything happens in between. Tom says, life between lives, Hitmo, why I'm here. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not into those things. They're mostly scams, so you got to really watch out. A lot of these things that are out there very much scam driven because spirituality has kind of become a business for some people. And so they look for ways to kind of tap into them, to tap into that market. So one must be careful when they're out there and they're, what's the word? Exploring these sorts of things, because there are plenty of charlatans out there that will take your money and, basically read a tarot card. And, not really give you any sort of energetic kind of information, which is really what's more important. That's what's so much more important, is what you don't hear or what you don't even really understand. That's the deepest forms of healing. When you're working with a really, really powerful type of person that can bring lots of intention and awareness into you, it's what happens days, weeks, months after that interaction. The ego mind gets caught up in the moment, trying to think that this is it. Like if you go for a healing session, say you came to a healing session with me, you may or may not have a very vast result in that moment. Sometimes. What I will say is the much deeper forms of the healing in which I provide are long lasting and life lasting. They go over your lifetime. These are imprints of energy that are put into your field that unfold. They're like new files of information that begin to unfold as you go along your journey, which is a much deeper form of healing than just an aha in the moment. There's different ways things work. Does your ego experience fear still with all this belief? Fear of the day-to-day survival or financial or really anything? Or are you full zen? Well, everybody that's on this planet currently, it doesn't matter how high you fly, you're going to have challenges, and the challenges are opportunity. Asking me about my personal experience, about this experience that Anthony is having. Yeah, sure. There's fear that arises, but not in that same way, because you're saying day-to-day survival. Well, you don't really live in a day-to-day survival thing. That's a story you're agreeing to, because you don't live in the woods. You're not a hunter-gatherer, and pretty much we live in a society where things happen. All I got to do is like do the things that we do in the society, and it gives you what you need. Or financial. So financial is an illusion. The mind creates that. So does it happen? Yeah, but not for myself. Like I don't have like any resistance towards finance for myself, because I'm totally capable of taking care of myself. And I have complete faith that the creator will always bring me what I need. I do sometimes have like lack mindsets that pop up. Those are parts of our deep subconscious programming that need to come apart. That's like training that's come to us through our parents and their parents, so on and so forth. There's stuff there. Fear is something that needs to happen. It's not like a bad thing. So I don't say fear bad. No, happy, good. That's where people get really confused. The idea isn't to escape life. It's to be able to live skillfully, to skillfully navigate this reality. Yeah. So fear, yeah, it doesn't exist much in my reality. I used to consistently, because a lot of the things like, fear of the day-to-day survival or financial, that's all mind running away. In the present moment, you're already safe. If you're under no attack in this moment, that's where the mind needs to come, is into this present moment. And then from there, having faith that your reality will take you where it needs to go. This is where the human mind gets in its own way, because it's trying to control an outcome instead of allowing whatever shows up to be what needs to be there. Because your reality will unfold for you and take you everywhere you need to go. Think in terms of row your boat gently down the stream. The creator, the creation itself, it will take you to opportunities. And then you have choices. These opportunities, will I engage in this opportunity? Is it going to make things better for me or worse for me? You have that choice. Like, my ego may want me to, and may crave a bunch of caffeine, because caffeine gets you wired up and you feel good. I want to drink coffee and do these things, which is okay. I'm not saying it's bad. Like, I'm just saying you don't want to become addicted to any substances. So I become kind of aware of, like, say something like that, like the mind, or your cravings, and your ego will try to talk you into eating sugary foods because they taste good and they're good for the brain. That's just temptation. Those are the temptations of earth, or in a religious sense, those are the temptations of the devil. The angel on your shoulder is the thing saying, yeah, you don't really need that. What I like to do is I like to put my body on the spot. If I hear my mind talking about, you need to eat this sugary snack, and then I'll close my eyes, I'll breathe into my body, and I'll ask my body, do we really want this? Do you want this? And my body usually goes no, because it doesn't want all the sugar. It doesn't need it. Things like that. So yeah, but your ego is kind of built on fear. It's never not going to feel fear. The thing is we get better and better at not giving attention to it, giving our attention to the story in which it's saying. We get better and better at realizing that's just a program and it's not who I am. The ego, that's the whole thing of spiritual awakening, is becoming aware that the voice in your head, the thing that's always commenting, judging, complaining, That's a program, and you don't have to be it. You can be the stillness. Like how my friend Jill was saying earlier, like, I think she's just misunderstanding what I'm saying. You shouldn't something ego or something. You're always the one. You're always the presence. That's who you are. Beyond all of this is your presence. You're the eternal loving awareness. But as you focus in, the more minute, that's when you begin to develop a personality. That's your interface into this world. Because otherwise you would just be formless. You just walk around and be like, hi, who are you? You'd be like, I am. And then no one can communicate with you. I agree. We are all the great I am. But in the world currently that we're living in, we have to be able to communicate. In order to communicate, we have to develop personality. In order to even share love, we have to develop personalities. These things kind of work together, right? So, because otherwise, it's like, I am, I love, I am. It may get there one day, but that's not where we're at right now. How do you separate you human? You don't. You're not meant to separate that. That the ego wishes to separate. So how I would explain is all of this, everything, every cell in your body is not separate from any other part of this universe. It's all one living energy. Okay. Separation is an illusion of that ego mind, or deeper, I'd say fallen ego mind, because the risen, the exalted ego mind, it will not have that. It'll understand. It begins to understand that it's not separate from anything else. It has a different kind of understanding. The ego itself tries to create separation. There's me and there's you. There's me and then there's the world. I'm in the world. Well, you are the world. You're everything. So what I would say is try to start using mindsets to take you out of separation, right? Where you breathe, feel the oneness of your body and how it expands around you. Become aware of the oneness of everything around you. I live in Nicaragua. It's a day-to-day. I did choose a more difficult path. Well, I'm gonna see there are some things there we want to live in. I live in Nicaragua. Okay, it's a day-to-day. This is your choice that you've made. I did choose a more difficult path. Well, that doesn't make your path more difficult. That makes your assumptions that it's difficult. Your path is no more nor less difficult than anyone else's. It's just how you're observing it. We love to do that. The ego loves to say, your path is easier than my path, and my path is harder than your path. Well, no, that's not true at all. Your path is perfectly designed to help you bring forward the parts of you that you don't know yet. So, my ego would say, I've had a path that no one else knows about, because I've come back from terminal illness. I've healed myself from 13 incurable illnesses. That's amazing, right? I wouldn't say my path's harder than anyone else's. My path is in perfection and perfect balance with what this soul needs. And ultimately, this soul is not separate from the one soul. It's like fingers on a hand. We're all fingers on the hand of the one. You could think of your body as God, and your fingers are people. They get to have different experiences. You could touch something with your fingertips. Each fingertip is having a different experience, a completely different experience. However, it's not separate from the one, just as our experience is not separate from the one. Make sense? I can't see any comments or questions. I'm so sorry. I can see yours. That happens sometimes. I don't know what channel you're watching from. Sometimes you have to change channels. That happens every so often. You also watch from YouTube. What do you think about hypnotherapy to help break free from those addictions? Well, I use it. So I can tell you that hypnotherapy is I just don't call it that. Okay. That's a modernized idea of an ancient shamanic teaching and ritual. True hypnotist, it happens naturally. I didn't have to take any training whatsoever to be able to learn how to help change the frequency of a human mind, of a human brain. Hypnotherapy is what that is like a clinical kind of way. I've worked with many hypnotherapists. Some are good, some aren't. Everybody's kind of got a different skill level. But it's not like they show on TV. It's not about getting people to bark like a dog and do embarrassing things. Yes, that can happen with some people. It's more about planting suggestion into the subconscious mind. Okay. So I use hypnotherapy not just for addiction of like substance. I use it because your mindset is also an addiction. If you're replaying trauma and fear, that's an addiction too. The self-limiting belief system, that's an addiction. It's an addiction to feeling comfortable and safe. Even if it's not helping you, the ego doesn't care if it's putting you in position to be your greatest self. It only cares that it thinks it's safe, that it can't be changed. The ego doesn't want to change. So I use hypnotherapy in different forms of hypnotic teaching to help people break into parts of their mind. I do it with everyone. I've already done it with you in our meeting. In our meeting, it doesn't require pendulums. It doesn't require certain things. All it requires is intentional energy. And when you become good at mastering intentional energy, you can plant suggestion into people's reality, into their mind, little tiny seeds. So in the tradition, in shamanic tradition, we call this seed planting. When I can put a suggestion into your mind that creates a question. That is healing. Healing isn't the answer. Healing is within the question, because all answers already exist in the field. To access them, you need the key. That is the question. So I may sit with someone and ask them questions. And I'll say, don't answer that question. Just let it move through you. Let the question move through you. So now it's been planted into the subconscious mind. And maybe days go by, weeks go by, a year may go by. I've had people that it's taken 2 years before they realize what's happened. But it happens. I can show you email after email of people that, wow, I didn't really realize what happened 2 years ago in the session until right now. I've seen that since that day, since that moment, my life has unfolded in such a way that I'm completely different because of the seed planting. So I think hypnosis, that's not the word I use. I use more like journeying or seed planting. I try to stay away from these, marginalized kinds of things. It's like, these are all the things you hear about. Eye movement desensitization, NFT, NLP. These are all forms of shamanic healing that have been repackaged and rebranded for the current time. Okay, it's nothing new. It's not new. Hypnotherapy existed long before the word. We just called it something different. So yes, it's very powerful, and that's where I like to work with people. I like to work with people in that mental plane. Okay. Also in the spiritual plane, very much the spiritual energetic plane. But the tie-in for that is the mind. However you're thinking, whether you think it is or it isn't, you're right. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Belief systems. How many different modalities do you practice? I think I just answered that, and use to help people ascend to different frequencies of energy. I don't have limits. Okay. So as like in the current time, there's this big push for people that want to be like coaches. So, I am a certified life coach, and in the certified life coaching course, they tell you to try to develop like a niche. I just don't really have that. I mean, I guess my niche is shamanism, but I go far beyond that too. It's just a tool in the toolbox. I like to connect directly to source and help people learn. Sometimes I learn new modalities through that way. There might be something I've never used myself or understand yet. And then through working with a person, their energy, their spirit begins to tell me, show me what kind of things they need. But yeah, I do many, many things. I do so many things because I'm very generally focused on helping people to rewire the nervous system, because that is the only way the body can heal. The body, the mind, the spirit all come together through one primary interface, and that is the nervous system. That's an electrical field of energy that's moving through the body. And anywhere that that electrical field is not moving with flow or is impeded, think of kink in a garden hose, you're not getting all of the information and energy that you need. This is what leads into symptoms of the life, not just physical symptoms, not just disease and illness, but just your emotional outputs. Everything that's happening is directly related to how you're perceiving reality. So I help people to gain new ways of perceiving. And now each person's different. There's no one way. The only thing I've noticed that's really kind of a key way for the vast majority of people is first getting a hold of your breath. If you don't have hold of your breath, if you don't have a good, solid connection and a continued growing relationship with your breath, you're going to have a very hard time ascending and developing, evolving. You require oxygen, one, at a biochemical level. At a biochemical level, you're oxygenating your body. I wouldn't have to need to tell you any more than that to know that, hey, that's probably pretty good. It goes a lot deeper because in a quantum sense, air is energy. Air is light. When I breathe in, I can feel, sense, I'm aware of all of the energy, the frequency, the gift of life that's just come in and out of me. This is your life force energy, your prana, your chi. You can bring it into you and saturate your cells with light. You can call in light. God, I call you here, or whatever you feel is the highest power. This is a shamanic practice. This is your daily spiritual practice. Just opening yourself up to all of the beautiful energy that's around you. Call it here. I call in all of the nature beings. I call in all of my ancestral light. I call in all of the light of the ascended masters. I call in all of the light of the earth and its energy and Pachamama, Mother Earth. You can call in any energies you want, angels, anything you want. I call all those things in. I breathe them in. That exercise alone will begin to slowly turn up the knob on your consciousness, the ability for you to connect to the higher self. It can't happen all at once. Everybody's trying to, I want to awaken. You're already awake. It's already here. You just need to relax and allow it to unfold, right? That's really what it comes down to. There's nowhere, you don't need more. It's not more. I'm not bringing in more. These things already exist. I'm calling them here and bringing them in so I can release what I'm not. When you release what you're not, it allows all that is already there to begin to permeate, to come in and flow. It's already there. There's plenty of spiritualists and spiritual teachers that make things a lot more complicated. I think that's on purpose, so that way you have to buy their course. I disagree. Your spiritual growth is very much organic. It'll happen all on its own. I didn't need any teachers at all to help mine turn on and come on. My teacher, I only really have one human teacher, Dun Zane. Most of my other teachings come directly from spiritual energies in which I communicate. These are the same spiritual energies that taught me how to heal myself, took me in the directions to learn things that I needed to learn. You're being guided all the time. You just have to relax. Mm-hmm. So there's many. So modalities, the word itself, there's some limitations into there. So I guess in that mindset, in the mindset of modalities, many hundreds, but it's not like, it's hard to explain because the mind tries to be like, I have this modality. I've been trained in Taekwondo. It's this modality. That's not how it is for me. Mine's information that comes in from source. And then it may align with, oh, there's a modality or something they're calling a modality that exists in this plane. Maybe it has a name, Is this a service you provide? Oh, of course. This is precisely within the services I provide, is helping people to change their mind. That's what happens. If I can help you change your mind, if I can help you just even have one new thought, that changes everything, that changes your entire life. Everything's like a domino effect. If I can have you look at your reality and have one new thing, one new idea, I can help everything change for you. Yeah. I'm in. I do something similar with my clients. I had no idea that was what I was doing. Yeah, it's your natural medicine self. It's just we have these ideas. You didn't know because you had an expectation of what this is the thing. People come to me about hypnosis, and then, I just don't really call it that. I let them know that this will become a hypnotic type trance or feeling. But the mind, typically, most people I know that don't really know much about hypnosis or hypnotherapy have a mental assumption, or some idea of what they think it should be, what what they think it is, not what it truly is. So that's all it is it's just showing you, Tanya. It's just showing you about, oh, I had an expectation of what it should be. Release the expectation and look at it for its function. You let go of the word, let go of what you think it is, all those things, and just look at the function of what you're explaining. Because I'm sure as you sit with people, you're doing the same thing. You're helping them to form new mental opinions about things, because opinions are generated from past experience. We don't know that. The ego just generates ideas through past experience. It's not actually experiencing the present moment. Most of what it's experiencing in the present moment is clouded by the dirty windshield of the past. What can happen is we can be like a little windshield wiper and move some of that dirt, some of that grime off that past experience of a windshield. And then sometimes people can get a peek through there. They get a peek through there. Oh, what else is possible? And then this begins that shadow work. The shadow work is cleaning your windshield, being able to clear off your windshield so that way you can observe reality in the beauty and form in which it truly is. There is no actual problem. There's just judgment and expectation. You're always going to be okay, and it's always going to take you where you need to go. All we need to do is be open to receive the opportunities as they come. This doesn't mean that there will not be trouble. Let me repeat that. This does not mean, I don't care how high you fly, how spiritually awakened you are, this doesn't mean that there won't be challenges. There will be a challenge. There'll be a challenge in your life. There'll be a challenge to your health. There'll be a challenge. The challenges are necessary. And once you develop the proper consciousness, you're no longer identified by that. You're no longer identified into that space. You will begin to learn to allow whatever's happening to happen, and allow the decisions in which you can make unfold from there. Not worry, not fear, just go with the flow. This takes a lot of practice because calm is a superpower, something we haven't been trained to do. I love that. Symptoms of the life. Yeah, I mean, that's all it is. I mean, we have these things that pop up in a reality, and then they can become symptomatic, if we don't let go. Feelings are a wonderful thing. You can't be a complete human. You can't be a complete being unless you're in the allowance to feel anything that shows up. However, what happens is the feelings show up and we bury them sometimes because of our past conditioning. A feeling arises, I push it down, I blame, and I externalize. You're making me mad. It's because of this, because of the government, blah, 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 blah. The things that most people's egos are all externally pointing, blaming Joe Biden. Joe Biden has nothing to do with what's going on inside of you. Joe Biden is inside of you. So if you see this as dysfunction and a problem, it's pointing to there's a dysfunction and a problem inside of you. Ego hates that because it doesn't want to take any accountability or responsibility for how it feels. However, most of everything you ever experience or feel is going to be directly related to that, directly related to how you feel about yourself. You look at someone, you don't like them, you feel edgy. I'm totally aware of that now. When I feel off balance with someone, the thing is, we try to blame them. Stay away from people with bad juju and bad energy. All energy is good energy. I'll take your energy. Give it to me. There's people that come online, they want to yell at me and give me a hard time and disagree with me. I'll take all of your energy from you. I'll take it. All energy is good energy. I'll take your poop. I'll take your crappy energy and I'll absorb it. And then what I'll do is I'll transform it and I'll turn it back into usable light. I'll use it to feed my body. I'll use it to help someone else. That's what we need to learn to do as a human race, is be able to take whatever we're calling as bad or evil or dark, the things that are creating fear and separation, we need to take these energies and we need to transform them back into light, back into love, which is totally doable. This just requires some changes first in the mind, two, some quality training of how to use energy, which I'm very busy at and helping people who are on the path and really serious about growing into their energetic awareness. Because once you learn how to manage energy, things begin to change, because now all the things that were against you can be things that you use for you, because you are not separate from the whole. You are creation itself. You're the best and the worst and everything in between. There is no best nor worst. Those are judgments. They're just energy. Angelica, different beliefs has different ideas of fate. How do you understand fate? If we create our realities, then we also create our fate. Fate. Weird word. Let me feel about that for a second, okay? Fate. Let's do this. Let me look at, I guess we have to first agree to a definition of fate. Fate definition. Okay. Because here's the thing about language, so this is where most people get in trouble, is because we just assume that all of us have the same idea or definition of a word. So fate, that can mean something totally different to someone else. You know what I'm saying? So the development of events beyond a person's control, regarded as determined by a supernatural power. So that's kind of not how I see it. That's why I have some resistance to the word fate. The development of events beyond a person's control. All external events are beyond your control. You will never control any external event. Not really. Like, you may have these little things that you may be able to set in place, but in the overall spectrum of things, you have no control over outside events. The only control you have is on your reaction to whatever happens. Shit's gonna happen. Beautiful shit, ugly shit, terrible shit, heavy shit, painful shit. All kinds of shit's gonna happen. Stuff, things, happenings. It's up to us to develop a consciousness where we're no longer driven by the emotion, driven by fear, driven by past story. So fate only exists in the frequency in which you are perceiving. So this is where people get confused. You choose the reality in which you want. Pre-incarnation, there's a choice that happens for the kind of reality in which you're looking, the path in which you're looking. You do have free will, however, how you navigate that path. All paths lead to the same place. You can't make a wrong turn. You can't fuck up. You can't make a mistake. Those are all judgments of the ego mind. Imperfect. Who said it's imperfect? Your ego did, because it doesn't align with the expectation of what it thinks perfect should be. Do you see? So everything's actually moving in a way that needs to happen for your greatest development. Now, you can help it. You can go with the flow. You can row your boat gently down the stream, or you can stick your arms and legs out of the boat and get caught up on all of the debris and things around you of life, of that stream of consciousness, get caught up, get gouged up on the rocks. And we all do that. That's okay. It's allowing yourself to learn from that, learning how to bring your arms and legs inside the boat and just relax and allow yourself to observe the float. Observe, just be happy, merrily, merrily, merrily. Float down the stream. That's really what it's all about. Now, people get confused. This means I just don't do nothing? No, that's not what that means. That means you stop worrying all the time. That means when opportunities arise, you take them. They show up. Instead of resisting everything all the time. That's the primary thing I see with people, is resistance. The resistance to life that's already there. Not allowing them to, I'm just going to go with that. You only got one life to live, right? And now that I've just exposed to you that you can't fail, You may not agree to that yet because the mind says, no, no, I can fail. Okay, well, that's okay. You're allowed to believe that. Do you want to continue to believe that? You can let go of that thought. You can start exploring what it's like to let go of that. And what happens? A new version of mind will begin to grow, a new state of being. So you have complete control of how you vibrate. That is what you have. Your vibration, you do have complete control over. So let's reduce it. Let's take it all down into a deeper form, or not reduce, expand it into its biggest form. Both are the same for me. Let's take it out of the context of physical and these ideas of this. You're living energy. You're a flowing expression of the one living consciousness. So ultimately, what you want to do is get all the other stuff out of the way and allow yourself to experience your life through consciousness, just your awareness of being alive. This brings you into that eternal present moment, which is where everything beautiful actually happens. Not in the past, you're always remembering, thinking about, being sad about, disagreeing with, or the future that you're worried about and afraid of and trying to control. Life is here in this moment. This moment. In this breath. I feel that. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I stay away from the word fate. Did you see? Like that gives some control to, like it said, to some externalized supernatural power. That's just not, I don't believe in supernatural. There's only nature. Do you see? That's an idea that the ego says, well, it's outside of these five senses that I understand. So it's supernatural, or it's magic, or it's aliens. There's all the ideas that come into the ego mind. If it doesn't understand, then this has to be out of this world. It isn't. It isn't. Funny. I had such a hard time after my divorce processing my grief. That's okay. I started meditating every day, and at first I would cry, which is something I couldn't do when I was just living without the calm. It's powerful. Yeah, great. So, processing grief takes what it takes. There's no wrong way, okay? People want to have all kinds of ideas about how another person should process grief. There just isn't one. There isn't some idea. Each one of us is going to process different, okay? The grief is rooted in the mindset and the idea. Grief is rooted in the idea of I lost something. Especially when I work with lots of people, women particularly, who have been in divorce, have been in a relationship for a long time. They found out they were people pleasers and weren't loving this relationship and weren't going along with it. They just were afraid. They were afraid of change, afraid to be on their own. So there's grief there. I've wasted so many years of my life. Well, you haven't. You're wasting your life right now saying that. What you want to do is understand that's all happened to bring you here. None of that exists anymore. So what's the point? Let go. Oh, I see. It taught me how to be here. It taught me how to love myself. So that's really all grief is driven by. Grief is driven by a disagreement with reality. Totally okay, though. We're going to have that. I disagree with reality sometimes. There's plenty of times I've been through grief. My grief may not be the same as everyone else's. I have a different understanding. I don't have fear of anything. I believe everything that happens has to happen. I'm understanding. I see how the flow of energy works. Everything that happens has to happen to get here. Within that kind of being, I have very limited and small amounts of grief because I'm not in fear of separation. I don't think I've ever lost anything. I also will tell you, my mind, it doesn't say that I've struggled to get here. It says, I've never struggled a day in my life, for I am here. Do you see? See how that changes everything? Why does the person want to? No, I worked hard and struggled to get here, trying to give self-worth to the ego. What if you let all that go? Where you're like, oh, I'm just here. Now what happens is you're eliminating the story of struggle. I don't struggle. I don't even like to, I have challenges sometimes, which are actually opportunities. But you know what I never do anymore? Struggle. I'm done struggling. I don't like the word. I don't even use it. I see what you're saying, brother. Good. So that's what I'm saying. That is planting possibility. And what I always tell everybody is you don't have to take everything I'm saying. You know, some people get upset, like, no, I don't believe that. These are absolutes and all these things. Listen, I'm just sharing with you a potential opinion. If you don't like what I'm saying, that's okay. I'm not mad at you. I'm here to challenge your belief system. I'm positive of that. You made me cry. Crying's good. Crying's not something I'm against. I try to actually encourage people. If you have the ability to, try to cry every day if you can. I mean, allow it at least, you know. Like I'm almost every day I cry. Like yesterday, I cried my face off when I was over at the lake. I was having a hard time yesterday. I actually was feeling pretty heavy. Not struggling, but I was feeling pretty heavy. There was just a lot kind of coming up, a lot of tension, a lot of worrying. And then I went to the lake and I opened up sacred space. I use a bell. Here's one of them. I use these little brass bells to open up sacred space. I learned this from my Paqos. They like to use bells. The bells are calling the energy of nature here. So right now, just I did that, a bunch of nature beings just showed up in the space. They're with you too. You can invite them. And as I sat there, I began to, my ego started to relax. My higher consciousness started to come in, and I just cried like, man, like, I don't know why I ever worry at all. Why should I worry? Why should I worry? How is that ever going to help me? It doesn't. Do I need to? No. And I just giggle. I'm not mad at myself. I don't go, oh, he was worried again. No, I just let go. The thing is that's just part of being alive here. That's just part of being a human, is you're going to have these things that you get to experience. It's not that they're wrong. Sometimes afraid is the right thing to feel. For me yesterday, it was the right thing to feel, because then it could show me my appreciation for when I don't have that, when I'm not holding on to that. It's showing me parts of my mind that I can let go. I started to install yesterday as I sat there at the sun beaming on me. I'm standing on these huge rocks in the middle of a lake. And I'm just standing there, I'm letting the sun come to me and all the energy come to me. And it just started to bring new awareness to me, new ideas. Often that's what the challenges in life are. The challenges in life are just asking you to make a change. That's all it was asking me to do. Can you find a change? And I did. I didn't stay mad for weeks or upset and bent out of shape for a long period of time. We were talking, it was a couple of hours yesterday. I was feeling heavy and out of whack. And I knew what to do. Mary and I, we said, hey, let's go over to the lake. Let's just spend a little time there. You know, the sun's perfect and everything's perfect. It's a nice temperature. I like to get out there. I like to do some qigong on the rocks, some breath. I did some really powerful breath. I called in all my spirits. I did some of my shaman work, moving energy through the Naui system. I like to really connect into the energy around me, and it was wonderful. It was beautiful. But this is how your daily practice can really help you to unfold. Your practice needs to show up when you really don't want it to do it. Everybody tries, oh, I feel so good today. I'm going to do my yoga and my practice and all these things. And then they'll come to me like, how was your breath practice? I didn't do it today. I felt really bad. Well, that's when you need it the most. So you've done it backwards. What about addicts? Well, what's the question? What about addicts? I've been an addict. I was addicted to many things. Addicted. So yeah, what about addicts? So I work with addicts directly. It's understanding that addiction isn't about the substance, as it is about the need to escape. How do we become addicted? We start using substances that take us out of this mundane life that we think isn't good enough. I'm not happy. This isn't good. Like, so let's say, for instance, one of the things I was primarily addicted to was alcohol. And the reason I would drink is because it makes life more fun. So essentially, my life wasn't fun as it could be as when I'm medicated and out of control. Now it's backwards for me. I have no want to drink alcohol. I'm not against it. I'm not like, whoa, get it away from me or anything. It's just, I don't really have any desire to have that substance, that frequency in me, because it cuts down all of my sensitivity. which is exactly what I was doing before, was cutting down my sensitivity because I didn't want to feel what I was feeling. I didn't know what to do with it. So what I can tell you is the vast majority of people who are addicts are also people who are highly energy sensitive. They're highly sensitive to frequency and their emotions in the world. And this is also what leads them into modes of addiction. Addiction doesn't just have to be a substance. Addiction can be to many things. You can be addicted to exercise. It doesn't just have to be things that we perceive in this reality as detrimental. Most of us are addicted to sugar. Are you addicted to sugar? Many of us are addicted to caffeine. Now, with the institution of vaporization of nicotine, there are more people now, I believe, addicted to nicotine than ever. I believe it's a daily growing business. When I drive through cities, more and more vape shops pop up. These things are, people think, oh, it's better than smoking cigarettes. Maybe, hard to say. On a longer timeline, now more and more research comes out. There's lots of problems, particularly with the flavored vapes, because they have sugar in them or forms of sugars. And as you inhalate them, it doesn't pass through. The sugar is not passing through the liver. So you're taking it directly into generally your bloodstream through your liver. It's inhalated. And what they're starting to find out is that vapes can actually promote diabetes. So there's a lot going on there. But yeah, so part of addiction is chemical. You'll seek it. You'll have a craving for it. And then what stops you from not being able to not use it is there's not enough mental fortitude to accept that maybe I'll have to suffer for a couple days because it's just a few days. I've been through that too. I've been through different forms of nicotine addiction, and it's generally just the first few days that there's a lot of craving. It continues over time, but you start to gain more and more control. And one of the primary things is getting control of your breath. So when you want that smoke or you want that vape, what you do instead is you feed your body. Like, instead, I'm going to give my body what I need. Another thing you can do is you can ask your body to bring to you whatever it is it needs. So say you're having a withdrawal symptom, you can begin to ask your body to bring to you whatever it needs to fill in those receptors. It doesn't work the first time you try it. You got to practice this over time. Okay. We all know we need more of it at some point. And who has time for that? Are you talking about practice? That's the first thing. So practicing. Who has time for that? Who has time to be outside? Everybody. If you don't, that's the first thing you need to change, because then there's a story you're agreeing to. You're agreeing to, I don't have 10 minutes to love or take care of myself because all this other stuff is important. And if that's how the life is moving, that's how it's going to continue. You're continually externalize outside of you what's actually important, but none of the outside of you is actually important. So that's where it's becoming more and more important as we ascend into higher frequencies of consciousness, as we evolve into higher forms of humanness, that we need to take time to be. If you don't have 15 minutes every day to meditate, be still, breathe, enjoy your life in a beautiful way without overthinking, that means you need an hour. That means you need to make it happen. You need to carve that time out. So that goes for everyone. If you're not making time for your practice, if you do not make time for your wellness, if you do not invest into your wellness, you will be forced to make time, and you will be forced to invest into your illness. I guarantee that. It's all up to you. It's always up to you. Looking up humans' evolution, yeah, there's nothing to look up because everything in the book's a lie. Sugar, caffeine, nicotine. Yeah, those are three. Complaining. Okay. Mindsets are also addicting. There's people that are addicted to being a victim. All of us know that person. Some of us might even been that person or may be that person from time to time. There's lots of people that are addicted to being the victim. All they do is complain. All they do is point out how hard everything is for them. And really what this is emotion. These people are looking for sympathy and love is what it is. It's just they're doing it the wrong way. They're externalizing. They find value externalized to them. I definitely used to do that, but I no longer find any value external to me. What someone else thinks about me or what they do or their reactions or whatever has nothing to do with me even at all. Sure, it's nice to have people say wonderful things and things for you, but it's not the words. It's more the energy of love and appreciation. And I love and appreciate all the people I get to work with and be around, and each one of you. And by me giving that appreciation, by radiating that like ripples come off, that saturates everything around me, and then it begins to come back. Sugar, caffeine, and nicotine, my kryptonite. So that's what you want to do first, Tanya, is you want to take the end of that sentence off, my kryptonite. So you've just made it, you've empowered it to be able to take away your superpowers. Okay, so you got to be careful with how you're wording. We didn't even get anywhere yet, but that's the first thing I want to point out to you is your mindset about it. You've made it bad. What if none of these things are bad? Do you see now? Now there's no resistance. I know. Oh, do you feel that? Hey, whoa. Yeah, it changes everything. If you eliminate this good or bad from it, if you eliminate the judgment, it's something that you're doing. Okay. And that's okay. Do you want to change? That's the first thing. Do I want to change? Yes. What's the first thing? What's the first thing I can do to change? I wouldn't try to eliminate all those things at once. I wouldn't try to kill sugar, caffeine, and nicotine all at once. However, you could if you'd like. You could treat it like a bed illness in a way. Like, what if you were to get really ill right now and had to lay in bed for 3 days? Pretty scary, right? Well, that may happen if you continue to eat sugar and consume a lot of caffeine and consume nicotine, right? That may happen. But you can start one thing at a time. What's the thing do you think is the most detrimental to your health? I'm going to tell you that it's sugar. You can make a different decision if you'd like. It's up to you. Sugar is always going to stand out. The other ones are also difficult. The easiest one for you to get rid of is going to be nicotine and caffeine. Sugar will be the hardest one. So you could start with the easiest first, in my opinion. That is nicotine. Nicotine is the easiest thing for me to separate from, to get myself off of before caffeine. Caffeine's kind of hard. That usually includes a headache. You're going to have a couple days where you feel like total ass, but you'll feel better after that. Sugar, really hard. I still am struggling. See, I don't like that word. I'm still working with that. I'm still doing what I can. I've definitely reduced. I used to just I used to drink like a 12-pack of Coke like a day. I used to have the 12. I didn't drink water. I just drank pop all the time, soda all the time. Not anymore. I drink almost all water, but I do like sugary snacks. I like granola. I love chocolate, but I stay away from most things. I don't eat lots of sugary stuff, but in a more perfect world, I would like to even come close to eliminating it, because it's just a game. It's just, you're eating this stuff and all it's doing is creating a chemical reaction in the mind. It feels so good. It releases hormones, all kinds of things. It's just playing with the physiology of the body. And then this creates cognitive dissonance. I always like to point out, if you understood or knew that your body was God, that this vessel is God, how would you treat it? In a new way. Makes sense. They're just things. Well, now they say that about you too. You're just a thing. Yeah, things. There's things. They're energy. Everything's energy. So they're frequencies of energy. But those are common. The three that you're pointing out, Tanya, are sugar, caffeine, and nicotine. That's the vast majority of people that I work with have at the minimum one or all three of those addictions. But there's people that are addicted to lots of other things. You can be addicted. You can be addicted to television. Most of us have addictions to our phones. How much time do you spend scrolling a day? How often do you find yourself scrolling? You're like, just one more. And there's a feeling of almost anxiety, like I need to stop doing this, but I can't stop doing this. This happens to all of us. And if you don't believe me, try shutting your phone off for 3 days. If you don't think you're addicted to your phone, don't touch it for 3 days. If you don't think you're addicted to social media, shut it off for 3 days. Just 3 days. Most people, the first thing that comes up is an excuse. Oh, I don't see why I have to do that. Or, oh, I can't because of this, or I can't because of that. Okay, you can make any limitation you like. I challenge you to go beyond your limitations. This is what we need to do as a human race now, is learning how to go beyond these limits, go outside of the limitations in which our mind is generating. The truth is, at the deepest level, there's no limitation. The only limit that exists is the one that you're agreeing to. We have an event tomorrow at Sacred Waters in North Olmsted. So anybody who's local, we're inviting you to come on up and share with us in this breath work. We're going to do some breath. Everybody just kind of get together. There's some couches to sit on. If you don't want to sit on the couch, we bring extra yoga mats, or bring your yoga mat. People camp out, fill up the room. Usually I start off with like some sort of little prayer or talk, and then we move into breath and we connect into our breath. And then I usually kind of whatever shows up, we open up sacred space, call in energy, call in our spirit guides. And then we usually lay out and do some sound healing for a while. I come around the room. I do some one-on-one sound healing with you in the room. Mary often comes around too. Very, very good. We go on a little meditation, a little journey. And then we come back. We slowly come back into our bodies, feeling refreshed, rejuvenating, recharged. And then we open up the floor to have like a group or village discussion. It's like we're a little village of people. We're a little group of people here. And then we talk about things. Some people talk about their experiences that happened during. Some people may have questions about where they're at on their spiritual path, about some of the things that they're challenged by or want to go beyond. And then that's a perfect forum for that, for myself as a shamanic priest and Mary as a shamanic priest, to help you connect to that wisdom. And then there's also usually very other powerful people in the group that are there to help guide. So this is a very, very awesome kind of thing. And that's going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m., Sacred Waters. We're also going to be doing a really nice service for Yogi's Karma. That's in North Ridgeville at 7 p.m. That's a private residence. So if you want to do that, you have to register for that. We also ask that you register for Sacred Waters. However, you can come in and pay cash. We ask for a $35 minimum donation. And that's really the only major events that are happening right now. I'm working on some new things, some new courses and classes to put out online. We're doing fantastic with our shamanic class. Our class is now in week 7 of 8. So that's today. I will be sitting with my class tonight, and we'll be working on pretty much the final part of this leg of the journey. Then I'm going to have some new stuff coming out, so you can watch out for that. I'm going to continue to expand the shamanic training course, and I'm going to make it so it's more video based for people that want to be able to access the information and learn at their own pace. And then within those, I'll offer some open groups where we come together. But I'm going to start to automate it so that way I can help people all over the world, because there's many people that want to take my shaman courses, but since they're like online in person and at a certain time, some people just can't make that. So if I make the vast majority of it more encoded into a video learning system, it'll be a lot more beneficial for those who are looking to grow into that. Please visit our website, thepositivepineapple.org. There should be links in the description. There's different services in which you can join. Check those out. Everybody, a little coaching goes a long way. A little bit, just a little bit. So I recommend get yourself in there. I also have lots of wonderful testimonials from people talking about their experiences in there. Some of them are right here on this show. Help support our mission of healing. If you like what we're doing and you want to see us continue and grow into the world, I'm asking for your help. I need you to make a donation, any sort of donation, a small donation, a big donation, however it feels good to you. But by you making donations, you help us to reach more people. And I want to thank you for your generous donations. So many of you are fantastic helpers in helping us reach out into the world. And now we're almost at 80,000. We have some analytics software that we run in the background to help us see kind of how many people we're directly working with. And directly, we're just about 80,000 people in 52 countries. So we're connecting all over the place. And as we continue to expand, we'll be able to reach more. This doesn't count just the people that have been touched by the energy we're all putting out here, because it's all of us. If you're here, you're adding to that collective energy going out into the world. Millions. We've reached millions. The analytics shows over 2.8 million. And then so for each one of those people, they touch someone else. That's how light spreads. We want to spread that out into the world. Yeah. All right. Back to the comments. Let's see. I love your live streams. Thank you for your work. My absolute pleasure, sister. I love to be here. I just want to continue to grow, because what I need to do is Spirit's pushing me to generate more abundance so we can go out and do more things in the world. I want to set up workshops and things, in-person workshops. I want to come to your town, wherever you are, and make those things happen. I want to see groups of people coming together. And that's what I'm really aimed at doing now. Creating global healing. I love doing personal one-on-one healing, but this is more now I'm being called as a leader of spirituality into the world to generate more global healing, more collective healing. Yay, how fun. Life is fun. Good morning. Hi, Ann Hall. Well, everybody, I think I'm going to jump on out of here. That's been a quick hour and 16 minutes. I got to get some things going here. I do have a client coming up soon. Anyone that's looking to make drastic change in their life, if you want to change your life, if wherever you're at right now seems like you want to go further and you're not sure what to do, what you want to do is you want to reach out to me. And what we can do is we can sit in the session. In a session, what I would do is I would sit there and I just would ask you to relax. We're going to breathe. And then we're just going to talk at first. I just want to see what's coming through, potentially where you're struggling in your reality, what you want to change. And then what we do is we work on ways that we can bring in I'm going to help you bring in new ideas, and I'm going to help you learn how to train yourself, your mind and your nervous system to help you become your greatest possible self. So if that sounds like something you'd like to try out, give me a call, reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, I would love to go to Denmark. There's nowhere I don't want to go, Angelica. I want to go everywhere. I feel like I just want to go everywhere. I don't really want to build. At first, I kind of wanted to build. I would like to build a bunch of them, like things that resemble churches, but aren't churches. They're more like centers, like spiritual centers, where people of all backgrounds can come and, people can do events and, all kinds of things. I would love to see these. I see these buildings. They're like these buildings, and they remind me sort of like a church. So it's funded by the group. It's funded by those who are part of this thing, part of this entity, this church. But I don't want to call it a church, because church sounds real religious, and I don't want to cultivate a new religion. I want you to, whatever your religion is, to love it more, understand it more, right? I think everybody has the right to be able to decide how they want to believe and how they want to feel. And what we need to do is create spaces where we can all love each other the way we are, without trying to force our ideas on someone else, trying to force our belief systems, right? This actually allows for expansion of belief system, because most people, our belief system doesn't actually work for us. But if it feels threatened by someone else trying to tell you what your belief system should be, as how kind of religion does, this actually shuts you off from potential and possibility. You can no longer accept potential and possibility. But if you're accepted for who you are, if you're treated with respect and kindness for who you are, this creates a possibility that maybe a new form of consciousness can arise because now it's not generated in fear. Let's take in a few breaths as we finish up here. Bring our awareness into our nostrils. You're going to breathe in through your nose, close your eyes, go down into your belly. Air into your belly and out with a soft sigh. And you're going to breathe into your belly. Soft sigh. Again. Fill up your whole body now. Whole body. Once more. Hold it. Hold it. And release. Ooh, nice tingly energy feeling all in the body. Very, very good. I want to thank you all so much for being here this morning. I love you all so much, and I hope you enjoy your week. I'll be back the day after tomorrow on Thursday for another episode of Ask the Shaman. Bring your friends, bring some people, share this on your page if you could. Share this, and then I'll see you Thursday. Bring some questions, bring some topics of discussion. I want to thank you all so much today for your participation, your love, your genuine connection into the world. I love you, love you, love you. I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye-bye.